Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a capsule selection. Today I am absolutely eager to get out to you guys my summary review video. This is one I think that will encapsulate my entire summer of wearing fragrances. I know we have a few weeks left in the summer arena. It's not completely over, but these are fragrances, the 10 in my collection out of the considerable amount that I've worn so far this summer that have gave me a lot of compliments and garnered me a lot of reverence, and overall encompassing of what I wore, and I think I'll be continuing to wear as my ongoing fragrance collection and wardrobe functions this particular summer. This is a great list for me to get out to you guys, because not only is it what I'm saying in review, but also something, if you have something on your list you want to pick up with the warmer temperature still sticking around throughout mid-September. These are great fragrances that are going to be on the market. Some are on sale now, some are discounted, but a lot of these are fragrances that will become appealing throughout the next coming weeks in the mid-month of September, and they go off great. They're very refined fragrances, some sweet accord, some fruity accord, some spicy, some incensey, but all in all, they're very cooling fragrances that give a lot of allure and attraction to a person. And these are the 10 in my collection that I'm going to do for you guys in summer 2024 in review. I want to start out with a fragrance that I kind of adore, man. It's one that it had gained a lot of popularity, and this is Navitus Parfum's VIVAMOR. This gained a lot of popularity, as I should say, early on. It's one that's very warm, spicy, and woody, fruity, from a cocktail of pineapple and a few mossy notes. So to me and to many, what it comes off as is a functioning fragrance that goes in between the mid-range of a Creative Vintage with that warm woodiness and pineapple effect and a Baccarat Rouge combination, because of the ambery sweetness with that spun sugar and amberwood accord. So it's a great fragrance for any time of the day in high heat. It comes off great, it radiates, it's a great parfum extract concentration, and it just went off well. It was one that if you had seen this in a different bottle, for many people who don't respect and talk about Navitus Parfums, if you had seen this in a different bottle from a different company, it would be even more hype because of the way that the scent goes off well. It lasts for hours on the skin, great projection, great sealage, and overall it's an encompassing fragrance of compliments and reverence, like I stated. Navitus Parfums produced a great fragrance here, and I think it's one that is readily enjoyable for the masses, and it comes off well at a great price point. So once again, the first slot is in my top 10 for summer 2024, Navitus Parfums VIVAMOR. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, what I have for you here is one of my favorite fragrances from the house of Clive Christian. This is a scent that really goes well in mature environments. It's one that it lingers in the air, it's playful, it's flirtatious, but it's studious and austere in some occasions. It's one that creates a boundary around you, a voluminous boundary around you that has a respectability and a social awareness of attraction. I enjoy this fragrance a lot, man. This is one that I wear a lot of times in the warmer summer evenings. It has a lot of lavender in it. The lavender comes off warm, honeyed, and sweet, along with this clary sage note and lavender and I think bergamot and grapefruit are in this as well. It goes off splendid. It's one of those fragrances that you really become a captivating individual, and you want to wear this one. For me, like I stated, and this is a high heat fragrance as well. It comes off cooling with that sage and the lavender. And you want to wear this in environments where you really want to sing a chorus of introductions. You want to be around people who are having a little bit of elevated status around you and creating a better network for yourself in this environment. So this is one that I would put in business and leisure and a little bit of day wear as well. But ultimately, this is a very sweet labdanum style of fragrance. The labdanum in this one is the kind that you will have in ambers, and that's that sweet concoction of the honeyed woody take on the labdanum accord. Very balsamic as well, but lively, as I stated, with the sage and lavender with that bergamot. I enjoy this one greatly. This is one of the most fantastic fragrances with the saffron accord in it as well. It comes off just superb. It's one that really garners a lot of attention. I did a video on this one in collaboration with a side-by-side of this and Blonde Amber, and those, as I said, are just phenomenal fragrances that go off so well. So once again, Clive Christian's Rock Rose is number 9 on the list of 2024 summer fragrances that just went off great. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, what I have here for you with the number 8 slot is a fragrance by the House of Fragrance Kurkdjian, Francis Kurkdjian. This is PETIT MATIN. PETIT MATIN is meant to create the effect of Paris in the summertime and the summer day, and that's what it did for me here. Not ultimately creating Paris for me, but it did create a aura around me for my summer day wear. And this was ultimately one of my favorite of the year, if not my favorite summer day wear fragrances, where the heat was extremely high. This has a lot of lemon, have a sweet floral accord made from a mixture of green notes of Listia Cubeba and a fragrance called Hawthorne. That oil, I'm not sure what it particularly is, but you can pick up with the nuance of differentiating fragrances. And for me, you can smell something in here that you had never smelled before. At least I had never smelled before. And I'm associating that with the Hawthorne that they say is in this. But it comes off very, very well. It's very lively, very bright, very alive. And one is very, very attractive on the skin. It comes off sweet, warm, and it ultimately as a lemon musk fragrance. And that for high heat is one of the best calling cards that you can have. It is a lasting power, a great projection, and sillage to this one as well. So it's one of those fragrances that really sticks to the skin and lasts for hours. So if you spray it on, even when you get out of the water at a pool party, it was able to be on my skin. So when I'm basking in the sun and hanging out at the pool party and at the club lounge, it was on my skin and radiating and got compliments on it. So once again, PETIT MATIN by the House of Francis Kurkdjian was one of my favorite day wear fragrances in the year 2024 summer. Next up, the one that competed most with PETIT MATIN is Amin's Green Pearl. It's not a similar scent. This one goes off, if similarity comes into a factor, this is one that is similar to the scent Silver Mountain Water by Creed. Very, very similar, if not a 95% similarity in the dupe range, if you want to speak that way about it. I don't think that's what they consider doing, but I think in the way that it comes off, it very much so does, with an addition of a green apple accord, which is not inside of the Silver Mountain Water, which makes this more attractive and more wear friendly for me, in which I pulled for this one, and I have not pulled for Silver Mountain Water this particular summer at all. It's built on green tea, a lot of artemisia, a lot of oak moss, a lot of neroli, a lot of tonka beans. So it's this sweet, earthy, herbal fragrance that smells super cooling and super gentlemanly. It is one that I think that is a scent that creates an aura around you that is inviting. It's still soup worthy. It's still casual wear worthy, but also you can wear this with a button up with some shorts and some loafers and come off casual business. And that's one thing about this particular scent that gave me a lot of pleasure in wearing in that arena, where I was able to keep it with a little bit of day wear and leading into kind of like a happy hour type of event, or where I had a lunch business or a business lunch, I should say, and I wanted to wear something upscale as far as my attire, with some linen slacks, loafers, and a button up. I wanted to wear something classy and a classic style, and this is one that I was able to wear off in that function greatly. And I went through maybe a quarter of this bottle so far, or a fifth of this bottle so far, just this summer alone. And that tells you one thing about a fragrance, when it's just that appealing and it does its function well. And that's what this did. Green Pearl by For Me. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, I got here Blue Talisman. Third time on the list this summer so far. It's one that I have given a hard time, and you guys know that, but I will not say that it's not a fragrance that has given me a lot of attention. So when I wanted to wear something in high heat this particular year, and I wanted to reach for something that was going to give me compliments ultimately, that's what this one did, and that's what this one does, and I believe that's what this one was made for, and it completed that task. Blue Talisman is a ginger and Broxton balm that's with orange blossom and pear and certain cooling notes of akigala wood. Came off so well, not refined, not super refined, but so well in its molecular structure that it was one that projected well, and one that would bring an aura around you that was of attraction. Not so much sensuality attraction, but it could be sexy if you pull off a certain outfit. But for this one, ultimately, it was something that was so attractive. You could wear it casually, you could wear it in any environment, leisure or daily, and it came off great. It was one that I wore, and outside of my own personal opinion of it being something that was super synthetic and molecular, it is something that got the noses and heads turning. And so I enjoyed that about it, and wore it ultimately many times because it is a great smelling fragrance. And I think that if you have not got your nose on Blue Talisman, you will be pleasantly surprised at what it can do for what it is. And it's a powerful fragrance. It has a lot of ginger, a lot of grapefruit smells to it, a lot of citrusy, ambery takes, and it's one of the great fragrances of summer 2024. I'm sure you've seen it and heard about it many times so far, but this is what it is, this is what it did, and it reached my top 10 list of summer 2024 through Talisman by the House of X Neil. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, I got here one of my hidden gems. It's not one that I talk about because the formula is not super unique, but what it does do spectacular. So this unique fragrance from Electimus, or non-unique fragrance I should say from Electimus, is a great performer. It is Imperium. It smells to me, if you were to put my list of fragrances out, not to say what it smells like, it takes some notes from VIVAMOR, it takes some notes from Aventus, it takes notes from Annie, from Nishane. It's a sweet vanilla fragrance that has a little bit of the fruit accords from the Annie, the Hasselbachs and stuff like that, but it's not one, it deviates because of this coriander and heavy saffron accord in it with a little bit of agarwood. So it's not completely a take on Aventus or Annie as a scent, but the profile, that DNA, it's very embedded in this particular scent, Imperium, and it smells fantastic. It smells very, 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 very good. It is one that has taken me from what I would call a dumb reach with it to now one that I pull for when I want satisfaction in a certain date night scenario. I can recall wearing this to downtown Royal Oak, which is one of our busiest little communities here in Southeast Michigan, and going to a pizza bar and just having a great time with friends, having a conversation, and many people in that particular arena giving me compliments on Imperium. It is a great fragrance, like I said, vanilla, a little bit of ambergris, a little bit of sandalwood, a little bit of agarwood. It's very much so a concoction in a vein that is supposed to give you compliments, and that's exactly what it did. And it wore many times for me this particular summer with great, great integrity, and I love the way it smells. So if you have the chance to get your nose on Imperium at a great price point, I say go for it, pull the trigger. If you don't have this particular DNA in your collection, or you want multiple or a deviation of that, this is one to pull for with great, great construction and very, very well made, very well done. So once again, Electimus Imperium. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, we got here Bulgari's original Ambro bomb, as I like to call it. This is exactly what that is. This is a lot of ambroxan, basically an ambroxan container. That's what this smells like to me, with a little bit of ginger and grapefruit. Now, don't get me wrong, this was blended masterfully by a master perfumer, and it shows. It is one of those scents that has a lot of molecular structure to it, but it shows the blending technique that they use to keep everything amplified, and it comes off smelling just so well in a high heat that you can't get enough of this scent. You would think that it's a boring fragrance at first, and then once you wear it a couple times, and you will become enthralled with the way that this scent comes across. So TYGAR, for me, like I said, it's the original Ambro bomb to me, and it comes off spectacularly with that grapefruit, the ginger, the ambergris, a little bit of a hint of like patchouli and white musk. But ultimately, it's an ambery, musky, citrus fragrance that just is thick, rich, appealing, and ultimately a compliment maddening up a fragrance. And so to me, the original Ambro bomb Bulgari is definitely a top 10 pick for me in my wearing for 2024 summer in review. Not only as a scent profile, but one that really captured the essence of a linen shirt. It captures the essence of a not so much of anything heavy. I never wore this with a suit. Every time I wore this was with a white t-shirt, a polo, or a linen butt sillage. Great projection, and it is one that gets a lot of compliments. The structure of the musk in this one is what kind of deviates for me from the rest, so that musk in this one might be proprietary, but other than that, it's an Ambro bomb, grapefruit, a little bit of spices, musk, and it goes off well. Bulgari TYGAR by the House of Bulgari. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, what we got here is Contralto by the House of Suspiro, one of our most crowd-pleasing fragrance styles. This is one that's built like the Bodicea the Victorious Hanuman. It's built like Bodhi Freak from Byredo. It's in that realm of fragrances, so it still keeps it unique while being a great texture and fabric for summer wear. It comes off different from those two because of the nuttiness of hazelnut and the woodiness of the components they used in the base of this one. This came ultimately as one of my favorite summer wears. It's funny how you will have a fragrance in your collection like Barbary Freak, which I've had never really pulled for it. It's one that sits on my shelf and collects dust a lot of the summers. It's one I enjoy wearing, but one I didn't ultimately pull for. But when I got this one in, the way that they were able to construct that nuttiness, the vanilla accord around that orange blossom, it created this nutty effect that came off a little bit spicier than the rest and made it more masculine feeling to me. And I've enjoyed that about this one and have pulled for it a lot this particular summer. Contralto is one that in Suspiro's new vein is done by Christian Provenzano, and he loves making powerful fragrances. So that's one more contribution to this particular scent that makes it much more approachable, because it has something that's alluring you in because it projects about 4 or 5 feet and has a great staying power. That's what he's known for. That's what he's done for the House of Suspiro. That's what he did with Contralto. Very sexy fragrance, very sensual in its nature because of the nutty hazelnut and vanilla with those orange blossom facets. Makes it just beautiful to wear. And I love wearing it each and every time I did this particular summer of 2024. That is Contralto by the House of Suspiro. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, second to last on this particular list, coming to the number 1 spot. This is number 2. This is PIKOVAYA DAMA by the House of Zerzhov. And if you know anything about PIKOVAYA DAMA, it's one of those aldehydic, soapy fragrances that, for me, it came off so well. I was very, very enthusiastic about wearing this fragrance a lot of times this year. It's a very professional and polished fragrance that creates an aura, like I keep saying, a reverent aura around you. I'm one who wears a lot of incense all year round. I'm not shy about wearing incense. I'm not one who's related to the wintertime or to the Catholic Church. I have no influence from the Catholic Church, so I don't appreciate what it is that others smell in it that way. So I have a different take on it. To me, the facets of the incense in this one are green, they're slightly lemony, and it smells phenomenal in the summertime. So this Hojari incense inside of this one is Olibanum from Oman. It's one of the best I've smelled ever. And it comes in contact with the Bulgari rose, which is this ethereal, light-wearing rose, along with all the other things that come inside this fragrance. But the incense is one of the most just fulfilling, polished feels for this one, in my opinion. I love the way it came off of my skin this year. It was my professional scent that I wore in many different occasions where I had to speak, where I was in contact with where I was in contact in congregations around people who I knew I wanted to impress and needed to be impressive with, and it went off well in those particular arenas, and I enjoyed it for that as well. So for me, scent PIKOVAYA DAMA has come in and as one that I was absolutely, I wouldn't say it was abhorrent, but I was not one who loved or even liked aldehydic fragrances. And so for me, getting this aldehydic fragrance in really opened my eyes to the note, opened my eyes to the genre, opened my eyes to the essence of what that particular note can do. Now, I'll say that in saying that the aldehydic feel of this one comes from coriander. And for me, it does not stay the entire fragrance. The soapy feel stays, but that highly enlightened feel of coriander slash aldehydics note, what I've associated with feminine smells, does not stay long. And so for me, this is one that actually walked me down the genre to luxury and opulent feeling while still being gentleman. And I love the way it did that with the incense, the rose, and the base woodiness of this one. Very spectacular scent by the House of Zerzhov, and that is PIKOVAYA DAMA. Just a great scent from the Stone Collection. All right, ladies and gentlemen, last on my list, this is the scent that really captivated me the summer of 2024. Now, the actual vessel or flacon that I have here, this is only after wearing through an actual decant of about 15 mil this summer. And that tells you how much I've really enjoyed this particular scent, because I've gone through 15 mil in the decant and then about 5 mil in the actual flacon. It's a just beautiful fragrance veiled with Roja's essence. He does a lot of perfume for us that come off spectacular. I'm a big Roja fan. I'm enthralled with the way he composes his fragrances, and this one here is one of his better warm weather fragrances, if not his best to me. It is a groundbreaking fragrance that smells like others, and that's a weird way to compose a fragrance when you have a fragrance that smells like others and you can really break the mold with it. Now, my opinion may be popular, it may not, but this is what I feel for this one. It's a very beautiful fragrance that comes off the heels of Terre d'Hermès, which is that dirty, flinty orange, but takes it in a direction that is much more uplifting, much more lively, and much more usable throughout the entire summer versus being something springish and fallish with that flinty take on the scent of Terre d'Hermès. Now, I know they have the off-fraiches and things like that, which I've smelled and I think are great compliment factor magnets. of fragrances. But for me, Isola Blue, with its evolution and the way that it smells, just came off so well this particular summer. And it's one that I think going through the rest of the summer, these high heat days, as today it's going to be 91 degrees, and it's number one today because it's going to be my scent of the day. Very beautiful wearing fragrance. The cap, the bottle, the flacon, the juice, everything about this one screams 10 out of 10 to me. That's why it's my number one in my year in review of summer 2024. Isola Blue, Rose Parfums. Ladies, gentlemen, that is my video for you guys today. This is one that I was eager to put out to you. This midsummer review, but it's going to be the one that I think is going to stand the test of time throughout the summer 2024. So these are the best fragrances in my collection that really appealed to me pulling out this particular year. Not the only ones I wore, of course, but things that I pull for constantly and consistently to give me an essence in which I want to put out in the public. That's the ultimate thing for these fragrances. They're an accessory to your life, and they were great accessories to mine this particular summer. They wore great, they wear well for everyone, and they're compliment magnets while also being something interesting, uplifting, and reverence. That's what I pull for. That's why I got these, and that's why they're in my collection, and that's why I give them to you as recommendations. I hope that, as always, this gave you something educational and entertaining, and if it did, all that I ever ask that you do, hit the like button, subscribe if you have not, send a comment, let me know what you guys are tapping in for with summer 2024 with your particular fragrances, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.